So I'm going to discuss this Jesus and Lucifer thing for the last time. I want to get it out and get it to where you can understand it, and then I'm going to drop it. But I need you to understand this. Please understand this. So I'm going to explain this in a couple different ways. The simplest way I can explain it to you, how you have played Jesus and Lucifer both. How Jesus and Lucifer both are in you. How Jesus and Lucifer are the same entity. And I'm going to explain to you how you can understand this. So first off, let's put it on this level right here, okay? As a human, you are you, and you have a right hand and you have a left hand, correct? So right hand, left hand, but it's connected to the same thing, right? So imagine Jesus being the right hand of God, okay? So you are not, listen to me, as a human being, this is still your hand, correct? So Jesus would be the right hand of God. On the opposite end of that, Lucifer would be the left hand of God. Now, God needs Jesus, and God needs Lucifer. Lucifer needs God and Jesus. Jesus needs God and Lucifer. So please pull yourself back from the stories you've been told about what Jesus and Lucifer is. In this regard, I'm speaking to you in a different language. It's the same words, but a different language. Put it together, please. So, now, they all need each other, correct? So imagine it like this. So, have you ever been told, because I've been told this, have you ever been told throughout your life, like, dude, you probably shouldn't say that because people are not going to understand what you mean by it. Hey, brother, you probably shouldn't say that like that. Like, hey, brother, you probably should. So there's a voice in my head that tells me this. So you might as well say, at that time I was playing Lucifer, and I had the right hand, Jesus, directing me, like almost like a mouth, like almost like a filter for me. But we're about to take it on a bigger level, so just keep with me on this. So what I need you to understand is, even though I'm using words like right hand and left hand and Trinity, the biggest eye-opener for you to understand is when you understand the mechanics of these characters' perspectives. You can take an even bigger step back and realize it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing, just looking at things a little bit differently. So, and again, I cannot make this more clear. I'm not, whatever you believe God is, or Jesus and Lucifer, I'm not speaking about this in terms of that Bible, even though you can correlate it with that. It's very true. You can impose that Bible upon your life, and it's eye-opening things. It tells the future, my friend. So, if you know how to read it, and I'm not being any type of way, but I have spoken to so many people that take that thing so literal that they think that they're convinced that when Jesus comes back, they're going to call him the Antichrist. That's probably going to happen. This is from people's mouths I've heard this from. And they think that whole book of Revelations has to take out. And I'm sitting here explaining it to them. It already is. It's already happened. Like, you don't need to take it literal that everybody's going to starve to death and people's going to be beheaded and blood's going to be up and we're all going to go against Israel and God's going to... It's so crazy. But I'm not judging anyone. I'm not talking down to anyone. It is what it is. So, I'm just trying to get you to see it from a different perspective. So, that's transpiring and taking place. So pull yourself back and realize what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about your true self, your higher self, and your ego. So now, the best thing to do is take a step back and realize it's all the same thing, all the same entity. So, and then let's go into a deeper level of this, okay? I truly believe that whatever you are, you're not really a human. I believe in this current moment you're a human. You're playing a human, you're being a human, whatever. You're in this form. But at our truest nature, I do not want to say we're God, but I do want to say that we are something so much more than we can comprehend at this time. So that's the claim I'm making. I am not saying you are God. I am not saying... You have to understand what I'm talking about, because this is tricky and words can mess you up if you don't have a grasp on it. So please, again, I am not saying you and the ego are God, dude. I'm not. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying the real you that's in there is something greater than you can understand. So let's just say you're in that state. That's who you really are. And you decided you wanted to have a human experience, and you wanted to experience this in a different lens. That would be the ego, aka Lucifer. So when that voice comes along, when that thing comes along and tries to talk some sense into you and tries to open your eyes and build up love and trust with you, call it Jesus. It's all connected. Ego, higher self, true self. The self. And this is... Could I use other words to explain this? I'm going to have to, because of the stigma attached to the words Jesus, especially Lucifer. The stigma attached to those words is so outrageous. But I hope I've explained this simple as possible. If you have... I'm sorry, somebody just messaged me and it just threw me off track. My apologies. So if you are brutally honest with yourself about Lucifer, if it was not for Lucifer, you would not be here right now. You would not have gotten as far as you've gotten. And again, Lucifer meaning the ego. If it wasn't for you, again, the you's in there, but you is the ego. It's you. If it wouldn't have decided to change and decided to actually take some advice and actually decide to put in some work and decided to actually heal and decided to become who it really is, we would not have gotten here. That is why I refuse to let people crap all over Lucifer. It is ridiculous. It is disrespectful. It is incredibly arrogant. It is programming, and it annoys me, to be honest with you. And I don't mean to come across as hostile. I just don't think people have fully thought this through, what they're saying when they talk about their past self, their ego. They don't understand what they're saying because they're crapping all over themselves. And it's frustrating and annoying. So, it's hurtful, honestly. Again, if I come on here and I seem upset or hostile or like huffy puffy, it's because, dude, it's sad and I'm hurt a little bit, and that's how I express it. It's not healthy, I get that, but I'm just telling you. So that's it explained. And I will come up with better words. I will use different words, because apparently this has derailed me. I've stopped cussing. I took my piercings out. I stopped getting tattoos. I stopped twisting stuff. I stopped doing things I knew were wrong to do, and apparently this is the last hurdle, to just stop using these words, because then it implies something about because even though I respect religion and spirituality, I don't want to put a hat on anything, meaning that like, oh, we're getting back into religion, and like, religion is solid. If you're religious, be religious. Again, I've made the claim Christ is in my heart, because it's the very core of the truth. So if you want to label me a Christian, that's on you. Doesn't mean I will accept it, but technically I guess you could say so. But I don't want it about any of this, okay? So I guess we should stop using those words. But Jesus has such a stronghold on this place, man. Like, in a good way. This is positive. This is not bad. I mean, so if we could turn the perception of Jesus and actually explain what he was talking about, then maybe we could go somewhere with it. But if not, we need to drop it completely and just respect it, but not, I guess, speak about it. I'm not entirely sure. That's something I'm going to have to think about, but using it like I normally do, I'm going to have to stop. I know I've said this repeatedly, but I just want to get that out there because that is how the blueprint I can lay it out for you. And it's laid out. Now I need to adjust it. So, love you guys. Thank you for watching.